Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Noah from PhoneDog.com, and I've spent some time now with the new T-Mobile Sidekick LX 2009. Been putting it through its paces, voice calls, messaging, web, email, Twitter, Facebook, media player, all that stuff. And in a nutshell, it's a nice device, and I would definitely recommend it. I don't think it's going to convert the legions who think that sidekicks are just for kids and they're not, grown-up phones. I don't think it's going to convert those people because it does have the same sidekick design, the kick-out screen, the icon-driven interface. It's kind of a little more cartoony than some people like, et cetera, et cetera. But I think as an upgrade, as the newest generation sidekick, it's a nice device. It's well made. It's a little bit slimmer than the previous sidekicks. The keyboard's nice. It's got 3G, which is, a big deal, obviously. It's got GPS. It does a lot of things really well. The web browser's a little bit upgraded from the last version. The integrated Twitter, the Twitter client especially, is really nice because you get a little ticker of your latest tweets up on top, but the Twitter and the Facebook and the MySpace apps all work well. The MySpace app at first, there's a little bit of a glitch with it, but I just hadn't used my MySpace account in a while, and once I went in and updated my status, everything was cool, and they're getting that all worked out before the nationwide launch. But everything works well. It's got a 3.5mm headphone jack now on the bottom, so it works a little bit better as a media player. The screen, the kick-out thing, it's still a little bit, it's not flimsy. I do, if this was my daily phone, I would worry that I would break it eventually, but T-Mobile, assures us that they've put it through a lot of testing and it's much more durable than the last generation. And the trackball works well, the D-pad, everything works well. The keyboard's comfortable to type on. All in all, nice device. Couple things about it to mention. Battery life is not the greatest. For me, it was fine. I had a bunch of questions from people over Twitter and everything, asking about it because sidekicks notoriously don't have the best battery life. And this doesn't either. For me, I was able to hammer on it, and by the end of the day, the battery was dying, but, I was okay. And that's, after sitting around at night and tweeting a lot while watching basketball games and whatever. I think if you had this on 3G all day and you were just hammering on it all day long, you'd probably run the battery out. So not quite as good as some of the more hardcore smartphones, but I think for most people it should be all right. The web browser is not on the level of an Opera or a mobile Safari, but it's really quite good, full HTML. Generally works well. YouTube, you're able to watch over the mobile version, not, the inline, doesn't have the Flash video support. I've read that it has Flash video support, doesn't work for YouTube, doesn't work for Hulu. So I guess maybe some, Flash Lite, you get some protocols, but wasn't able to watch YouTube in the desktop version of the browser, but the mobile browser is fine, that's all you need. The GPS system's a little bit clunky, actually. It's got Microsoft Live Search now, which is cool, and the GPS chip is cool, but it's not quite as smoothly integrated. You have to kind of go in and turn the GPS on and then tell it that you want to use your location. It doesn't work as well as a modern smartphone, as smartphones do, and as most phones do these days. So I wish they'd, maybe they can push out an over-the-air firmware update that has the Live Search GPS integration a little bit smoother, a little bit more easy to use, a little bit more seamless. The media player, pretty basic, but it works pretty well. You can listen to music in the background while you're doing other things, which is nice. The keyboard's good. I talked about it a little bit in a previous video. It's, kind of short travel, kind of, texturized plastic and not mushy, very hard click, but really easy to type on, well spaced, pretty accurate. And once it didn't take much for me to get used to it, and definitely, maybe not the keyboard style I personally would prefer most, but I think it works very well, and my accuracy was quite good on it, and that's what matters. Everything else works well. The screen is gorgeous, as we've talked about before. It's high resolution. Right now I'm in very bright sunlight, and it's not. It's not super great in bright sunlight, but otherwise very high res. Looks great, very crisp. This version has a 3.2 megapixel camera on the back with flash and video capture, which is a little bit of an upgrade from the last version. The camera works pretty well. You know, it's for 3.2 megapixel, it's probably middle of the road, maybe a little bit better than middle of the road. The video capture, not very good actually. You can see I did a video sample that I did direct upload to YouTube, and it's 320 by 240, but the quality is not that great. So, you know, that's a little bit of a letdown. The integration of the camera with Facebook and the video camera with YouTube is nice, but, you know, again, the camera quality, I think, is above average for a cell phone. The video capture a little bit below average. Messaging generally worked well. Instant messenger support, email support. You've got a T-Mobile email box, and you can add a few of your own email inboxes as well. It's easy to set up my Gmail. It works very well. The only thing is that the inbox is way too small. They really need to, T-Mobile needs to lift that restriction. I think it's 6 megabytes now. That's far too small for a flagship messaging device. Microsoft Exchange Active Sync support is promised sometime in the next few months. Couldn't get any more specific information than that, but that'll be cool. Hopefully, you know, by then they'll roll out a larger mailbox, because again, it's too small the way it is now. Before it even, you know, synced with my Gmail, my mailbox was basically full. So they need to work on that a little bit. 3G support was good. It's just relative to where there's 3G support for T-Mobile. When I had it, you know, web browsing speeds were good and everything. But you know, their 3G network is not nearly as extensive nationwide as the other big three carriers, or the other three of the big four carriers, I should say. So that's, you know, just if you're in an area where 3G works, it's great. If you're not, you know, what can you do? One minor little thing is that the USB port on this Sidekick is on the bottom here. It used to be on the top, now it's on the bottom. A little bit of a pain if you want to use the phone while it's plugged in and charging, because you know, you're going to have it open and then your cable's going to be right there and it's going to get in the way of your hands a little bit. Minor thing. Also, the keyboard is a little bit off center. I guess it's the screen that's a little bit off center. You can see I erroneously said in another video that the screen was smaller than the G1. It's actually not. They're the same size, but because there's so much plastic around the screen, it made it feel a little bit smaller to me. And then it's also off-centered a little bit, which isn't a big deal, but as I was using the keyboard, it kind of threw me because I realized my left thumb was over a little more. Just, you know, little minor things that aren't really, you know, faults, just kind of strange design decisions. I'm not quite sure why they were made. But you know, otherwise, again, overall, I think it's a worthy successor, worthy new addition to the Sidekick line. The 3G is great. The overall build quality so far has been quite good. You know, GPS integration, perhaps battery life, email inbox size, a few sticking points, and then the OS. You know, as you can see, I was able to get a I created a very rough, very quick custom phone dog theme, but I had to do some Googling and some hopping around to do that. You can't just set your own wallpaper on here. You have to buy one from T-Mobile, use their themes, or download their wallpapers for like $3, which is kind of silly. And you have to do some hacking around to create your own theme. And I would love to see, you know, T-Mobile make that easier, make this device even more customizable. And then of course you've got, you know, your notification lights, your multicolored trackball, and there's actually a strip on the bottom of LEDs that lights up when you boot up, and also you can use them as indicators. So again, overall, solid device. $199 on contract for current T-Mobile customers, $250 on contract for your new T-Mobile customer, and then the mandatory, you know, Sidekick data plan, which is a lot. That's up in smartphone, iPhone territory, but you know, Sidekick fans will be happy, and maybe some folks who like the Sidekick but couldn't use it with corporate email, they'll be into the Exchange support. 3.5mm jack makes it good for, you know, easier to use as a Walkman in the background while you're doing other stuff. I don't think you're going to win over any BlackBerry, you know, or smartphone heads with this new one, but maybe a few. But the screen's gorgeous. Overall, solid device. All right, there you go. Thumbs up for the new T-Mobile Sidekick LX 2009. From sunny California, I'm Noah from PhoneDog.com. Much, much more on the Sidekick. All the new T-Mobiles, all the new phones on PhoneDog.com. We'll see you next time. This video is brought to you by the OnePod Bandit. Spin to win now with PhoneDog.com's OnePod Bandit. It's free to play and you can win a cell phone or an iPod Touch. Just go to PhoneDog.com and click the Win tab. You can spin 5 times a day on PhoneDog and 5 more times each day on Facebook. Invite your friends too. Good luck from me, Noah from PhoneDog.com.